We're back. Welcome to After the Whistle. We've been on hiatus for about 2 weeks with the new year and all that stuff. We had to get ourselves together. Some of us survived the New Year's. I barely did, but me and Todd are back. We got a lot. There's a lot to go. There's a lot that's been happening since we've been off, so we about to get going. What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. You know, New Year, basketball going on.
Yeah.
Ready for another game on Friday. That's really it for the most part.
Yeah, we got NFL, we got high school basketball, we don't got college basketball, but we got NBA. We got a lot of stuff going on. But first, we're gonna start off with NFL wildcard weekend. There were some games that made you say wow, and there were some games that made you shake your head. And first, we're gonna start with the game that made you say wow, which was the Colts versus the Texans. A lot of people thought the Texans were the better team. I've been saying for a long time that the Colts are the most dangerous team in these playoffs, and they came in there and they just handled the Texans.
Yeah, we were talking about the Colts being on the roll, and that's probably the last team you want to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And luck, I felt like people kind of luck out and totally forget that he's an elite quarterback.
See what you did there?
What
I
happened?
see what you did there with the luck out.
Oh, yeah. But but they forget he's an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
And just because he was a little rusty doesn't mean he doesn't still have the skills to win a championship. And we all know he has those skills, and he has the players to do that as well.
Yeah. What impressed me about the Colts is their defense. Their defense really shut down the Texans. The Texans basically couldn't do much in this game. Since they lost their two other receivers. They lost Demaryius Thomas to injury, and they lost Will Fuller to injury. So you just double-teamed DeAndre Hopkins, and nobody else could make plays for them. I mean, they threw the ball 49 times. Deshaun Watson was inaccurate the whole time. There were some throws he was making that just weren't even – they were just horrible throws. And the offensive line wasn't protecting him. That's been a problem with Houston for the longest time. But Houston, they couldn't get anything. The Colts defense really made it uncomfortable for them the entire game.
Yeah, and like we always say, you can't have your quarterback throwing the ball over 40 times. Plus, they had no running game either. So there was no balance in the offense. And when your quarterback has the most rushing yards out of all your running backs, that's a problem because he's doing way too much work.
Yeah, the most rushing yards and the most carries.
Yeah,
that's way. But the Colts, they were balanced. 35 runs, 32 passes. Marlon Mack had 148 yards rushing. I think that's a record for a rookie. I believe that's a record I'm not too sure, but I think that's a record for a rookie. So 24 carries, 148 yards. That's, in the playoffs, you need that, especially the Colts took that 21-0 lead, and they didn't look back. They didn't look back after that. They pretty much, they were milking the clock. They were just playing it safe, and they did whatever they wanted. Basically, the first drive, you could see it, they went down the field easily on them, the first two drives, and the Texans had no answer. The one bright spot for the Texans was that one defensive play that J.J. Watt tipped the ball and they got intercepted. But other than that, it was just a horrible outing for them.
Yeah, basically, the whole time we were watching the game, it was 21-0 for most of it. So there's 21-7. It was really 21-zip.
Yeah, and what I was saying, Bill O'Brien, I think I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. I don't think he's that guy to lead this team to where they need to be. This is probably the most he can get them. He'll get them to the playoffs, but they'll never win a playoff game because Bill O'Brien, he never made any adjustments. There were no adjustments made throughout the game, and he was just, offensive line wasn't doing well. They made no adjustments to handle Indy's defensive front, and Indy's offensive line dominated the game, and you would think when you have J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney, you would think they'd do more, but they made no type of adjustment.
You would think, but honestly, the Texans are one of them teams I feel like they'll do pretty well in regular season. In the playoffs, they turn back into who they are.
Yeah, definitely. So that sets up the Colts. Big win for them. They're back on the road. They're going to be taking on Kansas City. Well, we'll talk about that a little later. Now to another wild card game. This one, the Seahawks versus the Cowboys. This game, I did not understand Seattle's game plan throughout this game. They were treating Russell Wilson. I always say Russell Wilson. They were treating Russell Wilson as if he was a first-year quarterback, and this was his first time in the playoffs. They just, I don't know. Dallas did what they needed to do. Defense played well. They had over 130 yards from Ezekiel Elliott. and Dak made enough plays. He made a tough play at the end to get the first touchdown, and then he made a tough play at the end when he scrambled. So I don't know. I don't know what Seattle was doing.
Yeah, that game was just an interesting game for me, you know. Honestly, I think I was with you watching the game. I didn't really watch too much of it because it was just one of those games like we was talking about the first person that scored a 9 was going to win the game, and then they picked it up in the fourth quarter. Yeah. But it was just one of those games. It was just not for me. It wasn't a fun game to watch personally.
No, it wasn't. I was just baffled by Seattle's play calling. It was terrible. Russell Wilson, I think through 4 quarters, he only threw the ball 16 times. For the game, he threw it 27 times, but I think those came in the last 2 minutes when they really needed it. You know, the final score is 22-24, but football's a game of inches. Look at Janikowski missed a field goal to end the half, and they lose by 2 points still.
And then he pulled his hamstring?
Yeah, he pulled the hamstring.
And they lose their kicker.
They lose the kicker, and when they needed an onside kick, this was probably one of the worst onside kicks I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know what that was, but it was just terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, I think the NFL might need to think about having just like a spare kicker somewhere in the building just in case something like that happens.
Yeah, most teams only carry one kicker.
I mean, just, you know, you ain't got to put them like fully on the payroll, but, you know, give them a couple $2 just to be around just in case Janikowski pulls another hammy.
Yeah, that's good.
I've never seen a team not have a kicker in a professional football game.
Me either.
Unacceptable, I think.
And for Dallas, they got a tough matchup, but for them, this was a great outing for them. They needed this one. They could have easily, you know, they gave Seattle many chances to win this game, but Seattle, with their play calling, didn't. So Dallas, their 3rd playoff win in 25 years. I mean, good luck, good job to you guys, but they got a tough matchup with the Rams. But if they keep the same recipe? Give the ball to Zeke at least 26 to 30 times. You know, have Dak manage the game. I think they'll win because Amari Cooper had 7 catches for 106 yards.
I was just about to say, like the 3-headed monster. Yeah. You know what I mean? Big 3. Dak, Cooper, and Zeke.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as you get the ball in their hands, they're gonna make some plays for you, and you most likely you get the W.
Yeah, and definitely, and running the football always travels on the road. That with the team they got coming up next, they're gonna have to run the ball because they might have to keep that team on the sidelines for the majority of the game. Another one, you know, the AFC, the road teams won each game in the AFC. The Chargers and the Ravens. This was another game. This game was hard to watch for about 3.5 quarters, basically 4 quarters. The entire game was hard to watch. It was a defensive game. No team could really get it going. The Ravens, they couldn't protect Lamar Jackson the majority of the game. You know, Phillip Rivers, he did what he needed to do. He didn't make no mistakes, but this game was a defensive game.
Man, Lamar Jackson could barely protect himself. He was playing like a rookie. He got nervous. I mean, I don't know if he was nervous personally, but it looked like he was playing like a rookie, just losing the ball, holding it in the wrong place, ball slipping out your hand, just doing stuff that you shouldn't do in a playoff game. Maybe your first couple games in the league, sure, we accept that. But in the playoff game, that can't happen.
Was it like the first play of the game? It was a fumble?
It was like a couple of them, like in a couple series.
Yeah, that was what I didn't like what the Ravens were doing. They didn't open up their playbook for him. They were too conservative. I think that they were babying him too much. They were trying to protect him, they didn't open up the playbook. They became predictable at some point. It was basically the Chargers knew what they were going to do, and at some point you got to switch it up. Because, I mean, you could only run quarterback draws for so long and straight up run plays for so long until they figured it out. And this team got a good defense. They figured it out.
But it's also kind of hard to open up the playbook when your quarterback isn't real poised, and it looked like he was just a little flustered most of the game. You know what I mean? It seemed like the moment might have been too big for him at that point in his career.
Yeah. What I would say, when they did need to score, during that last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, that's when they started moving the ball. The offense started rolling. It was mainly because he had to scramble for his life. The offensive line was terrible for him the entire game. He was basically running the entire game. And I don't understand. People were saying they should have put Joe Flacco in the game. But, I mean, with that offensive line, the Chargers probably would have had 15 sacks in that game because Joe Flacco he can't move. He's slow as a turtle.
Plus, you go with the person that got you there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's the future. We don't know behind the scenes if Joe Flacco might have any issues with anybody in the coaching staff or anybody in the organization. So there might be more more reasons why they might not have put him. They might not have put him in.
Yeah.
So who knows? But you ride with the person that got you there. Simple as that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, this is a learning experience for them. But the Chargers, this is another team, dangerous team coming up for the Patriots. This team is very dangerous. So we're gonna get into all that in a few. But let's get through these wild card. The last wild card game, the Bears versus the Eagles. I don't understand Nick Foles. I don't understand Nick Foles. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't understand Nick Foles. He's not that good of a quarterback, but for some reason in this system, in this Philadelphia Eagles system, he's good. He wasn't good Sunday, but he did enough for them to win. Granted, the Bears, I don't know.
I mean, he did have 266 yards, or was it 246?
I think it was like 266.
I mean, so that's not awful. It's pretty good with 2 touchdowns. Granted, he had 2 intos, but Nick Foles is kind of, I don't like. He honestly, he's a real professional, because it's hard to go in there and play for a team that don't really want you. They basically tell you they really don't want you starting, and you go in there and get W's for him.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that.
True professional.
I think he's one of those guys that that learned the master art of being a backup. Because I'm 100% sure if he was a starter, it wouldn't go the way it'd be going. Because I've seen Nick Foles as a starter. He was contemplating retirement at one point when he was a starter. So I think it's this system, because this is the Andy Reid coaching tree system, and well, what I've seen from all those guys that came under Andy Reid, they know how to coach quarterbacks and they know how to use a quarterback's skill set. So this is good. But the Bears, they got to be kicking themselves in the foot. They had ample opportunities to win this game. I mean, you think a team, they created 2 turnovers. They got to Nick Foles, and the Eagles scored that last touchdown to take the lead, but then the Bears came right back down. And I've said this once, and I'll say it again: never, ever, 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 ever trust the kicker. You can't trust the kicker, because some of them are made for those type of situations, and majority of them are not. And they're saying the kick got tipped at the line of scrimmage, but no, you got to make that.
I mean, true. I do agree with you with that. Never trust the kicker, because they're kind of like a fan most of the game. Until it's just their time to come in, that one down. So it's like end of the game situation. They've been watching this whole game the whole time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably have some nerves. They're probably a little nervous. Got some nerves. Yeah. And I'm surprised they lost this game personally. Trubisky had 303, but only 1 touchdown though. Like when you have over 300 yards, you got to at least give me 2 TDs.
Yeah. I think they had some opportunities that they missed, but Trubisky didn't even play. He didn't play bad. He played well for first year in the playoffs. He played well. Mm-hmm. The Bears. I mean, this was a defensive game. You got to give the Eagles credit. Eagles defense credit for slowing them down, but you got to make that kick. You got to make that kick. So that was the wild card round. It was really wild. So the divisional round, we're going to get right into it in the divisional round. And first off, we'll start off the Patriots there. We'll be hosting the Chargers this Sunday at 1 p.m. This is in the AFC. It's not no easy pick. Every team has strengths and weaknesses. All these teams left in the AFC have a lot of strength. And the Chargers, they're going to present some problems for the Patriots. Mainly those wide receivers. They have a bunch of big wide receivers. They have an explosive running back, but I think he's hurt. So that may work in the Patriots' favor because he's hurt. Yeah. So first outlook, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm always going to go with the home team because, for one, we got Brady. 2, we're in the playoffs. Yeah. So that's just how it goes with me. But, as long as we can contain the wide receivers, because our defense isn't the best, but if they can step up to the challenge and just, you don't even got to stop them, just contain them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's tough to contain big wide receivers. They're going to get their yards. Just don't let them explode for more yards after the catch and things like that. And we got Brady. Hopefully Brady comes to play. Hopefully he doesn't have any brain dead moments. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And move on to.
So I'm looking at guys like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I mean, you can't double. I don't know who you're going to choose to double team, but you're basically, I don't know what's the game plan for the Patriots defense is going to be, but those guys, if you double team one one of them, the other one's going to have single coverage, and both are dangerous. Because Phillip Rivers, a lot of times, he just throws it up to them and they make plays. And, that's the benefits of having 6'4", 6'5" wide receivers. So I think what's in the Patriots' favor is they're at home one. They did play well. Their offense did play well, but they got to stop that defensive front of the Chargers because Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, they could get after it. And then in the back end, Derwin James, and I forget the other corner's name, but he was an all-pro. Those guys are really good at their position. So there's going to be some challenges for the Patriots, but I think they could pull it off. And plus, if they could make the Chargers one-dimensional, I think that they could really present problems for the Chargers.
I agree. I mean, the Chargers versus the Pats, it's always a tough matchup. It's always a good game. It usually goes to the wire. So I'm looking forward to be no different.
Yeah, and I just found this out the other day. Phillip Rivers has never beat Tom Brady. He's like 0-8.
Oh.
He's 0-8, so that's also something else that's in their favor. So this is going to be an interesting game for the Patriots. Next up, the Colts versus the Chiefs. This one it's going to be interesting too. This is another interesting one. We got an explosive offense against a defense that's very solid. The Chiefs' defense isn't that great, so I don't know how they're going to contain the Colts wide receivers. T.Y. Hilton has been that's just. Pedro got old film, but the Colts wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, he's been playing well. He's been playing well, and the problem with the Chiefs, they can't cover. They can't cover.
Yeah, the Chiefs won't make it a shootout just because they know they can put points on the board at a high rate, definitely a high rate. But I said the Chiefs, correct?
Yeah.
All right, but the Colts, just probably the team you do not want to see in the playoffs, because Luck's coming back to his old form.
Yeah.
And they're just rolling right now. They're playing well. Like I said, T.Y. had 4 receptions for 85 yards, man, if he would have had 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just he can get yards at a fast rate. And
the Colts, I don't know what the weather's going to be in Kansas City, but this time of the year it's usually cold. But the Colts are built to play in any weather because, for them, they do have a solid running attack. If they want to slow down the Chiefs, just run the ball because you got to test that Chiefs defense, see if they could stop the run and stop anything. If you do that, you keep Mahomes and them on the sideline. That works in your favor. And also, you can't let Tyreek Hill run free in that secondary for the Colts. If you're not double teaming him, then you're gonna have some issues because that guy, he's probably the fastest guy in the league.
True. But, as long as the Colts can stay on pace with scoring with the Chiefs and stop the Chiefs a couple times, they'll probably, if that happens, they probably win the games because, like I said, the Chiefs, they're going to allow you to get points. Yeah. That's just kind of how it goes with them.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention, if the Colts make the Chiefs play their style, which is smash mouth football, because that's the Colts style. The Chiefs run, ever since Kareem Hunt's been gone, their running attack has been all right, but it hasn't been the same. So if the Colts can make the Chiefs play their style of football, then the Chiefs might, they might have a first round. They might be out quickly. And also something to remember: the Chiefs, they haven't won a home playoff game in a while. I think since 1993 or 95. Every home playoff game they've had since then, they've lost. So including last year when they lost to the Titans, they blew a lead last year. So. That's something to look at.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Cowboys are taking on the Rams. This is another high explosive offense versus a team with tough defense. This is going to be a home game for the Cowboys because, I don't think there's any real true Los Angeles football fans there. And the Cowboys, they're like universal. They have their fan base is universal. So this might be like a home game for the Cowboys, but they're going to have some problems. They're going to have some problems dealing with Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks and them boys. But the key for the Cowboys is Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, Zeke has to get over 25 touches, I think, this game, just because you're going to have to slow down the Rams' offense. And Goff can go for at least 4 or 5 touchdowns. Yeah. So you got to slow him down. You have to balance your offense. Coop has to get some touches. Dak has to make smart decisions. He has to value the football if they want to come out with this win. It's just because, the Rams are going to score. Yeah. Unless they play awful like that one game he played, but I doubt Goff's going to throw for another 3-4 interceptions again. That was just ridiculous. So.
And they were without Todd Gurley for the last couple games of the season, so he comes back. But C.J. Anderson filled in well, too, so now they have 2 running backs that could do damage to the Cowboys. But the Cowboys' defense, they've been playing well all year. The Rams' running defense isn't that good. The Rams' defense in total isn't that good. So The Cowboys, they're going to have opportunities to make plays against this defense. My thing is, the Rams, they need to win a playoff game. Last year they had a home game, they lost. So this is their second home game. They need to win this game, because now if you can't win a playoff game, everybody's just going to be looking at you like. Then they're going to look at Sean McVay like, are you really that good of a coach, or are you just a regular season coach?
I mean, the Chiefs and the Rams kind of are expected to at least win a couple playoffs games just because of how good they were this year. So there really is no excuse for them personally. Yeah,
definitely. And right now the line is 7, the Rams, 7 points. That's the line right now. So we'll see. That it might be a close game, but if it gets out of hand, because the Cowboys, I don't think they're built to come back. Because if the Rams jump out to a big lead early, I don't know if the Cowboys are built to come back. The Cowboys are built to have a lead. If they have a lead, then they'll lead down.
I mean, you don't know their record trailing, do you?
No, I don't. I just know their record on the road is like 3-5. I think. Yeah, they're not that good on the road. So that's that. And then what else we got? All right, and then the last game, this is a rematch from Week 11 between the Eagles and the Saints. Last time they played the Saints just ran them out the building. It wasn't even close. It was ugly. The Saints did whatever they wanted to them. At that time, the Eagles, I think they had like second or third string defensive backs in there. They were all, that team was just, their defense were injury riddled. So, it's going to be tough for them. It's hard to beat a team twice, but it's a lot easier when you have them at home. So the Eagles, they got a tough task. But if Nick Foles pulls this off, I honestly think he went to see the witch doctor or something. Because if he pulls this one off, I don't know, man.
I mean, I think it's probably going to be a closer game than the last game, just because situation, circumstance.
Yeah.
Big game. They're going to probably scout better. They're obviously going to watch, last or whatever week it was, that game from obviously this season.
Yeah.
And that was tough to get out right there. Jesus, tired, man. But they're gonna do better scouting and be more prepared than the last time they played. Plus, they have their starters in for the most part. I don't know if they got all their guys back.
I don't think they have all of them back. They still got some.
Well, they got more back than before, so they put up more of a fight compared to last game.
And those backups got some experience too, so that helps. And I mean, when you get your behind whooped, you kind of, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. You kind of do not want that to happen again. So I'm pretty sure they'll play tougher this go around. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. This Saints team is very explosive, very very tough team. So.
Yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to it. Just because I've been rooting for Breeze all year.
Yeah.
And they've been balling. So.
I'm just tired of Philly, so.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, I can't. I don't want to deal with Philly fans for an entire off season again. That's.
Yeah, man,
that's something to my soul.
My cousin will be calling me if they win. I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, nobody is. But, all right. Yeah, so there's that. That's the wildcard weekend. That's all. There we go with the NFL headlines. The divisional round starts Saturday. And Saturday and Sunday are the divisional rounds. And, the following week, we got the NFC Championship game. And we're getting closer to Super Bowl 53. And NFL, y'all need to give me my press credentials. I'm trying to get up in there. Pats, too. Patriots, give me my press credentials for Sunday. Stop hating. I'm trying to get up in there. Do some work. And, all right, NFL news. We got more NFL news. A lot of people got fired. It was Black Monday last week. A lot of folks got fired. But, first we'll start off with some new hirees. So Bruce Arians, he was just named the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy, he was formerly the Arizona Cardinals coach, where he won the Coach of the Year 2 times. And he led them to the NFC Championship game when he was with the Cardinals. So one thing about Bruce Arians, he's good with quarterbacks. Maybe he could be the guy to help fix Jameis Winston, because the Bucs are going to keep Jameis Winston. So. Oh,
all right, they're going to keep him. Yeah, they could use him.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen from his track record, he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah. He
kind of put the Cardinals on the map for me, because we knew what Cardinals were, but I didn't really see them start winning, big games until he got there.
He kind of revitalized Carson Palmer for that short time that he was with there. Also, when he took over for the Colts, when what's his name? Chuck Pagano, when he was diagnosed with leukemia. Yeah, he took over, and that team. I believe they went to the AFC Championship game that year.
I think they did actually.
Yeah, because I believe that was the year the Pats beat Seattle in the Super Bowl.
I'm not positive, but I think they made it to.
Yeah. We'll double check, but I'm sure I think that was the year when they went to New England. The Patriots beat them in the AFC Championship game. But I think this is a good hire for the Buccaneers. It's now you just have to work on the defense, and because you have the offensive pieces, but you just got to work on the defense right now. And also Cliff Kingsbury, this guy, Cliff Kingsbury, the former head coach of Texas Tech, who in December signed to be, I think offensive coordinator at USC. I think he was hired to be our offensive coordinator at USC. I believe yesterday he just signed what team was that? The Cardinals, I believe, hired him. I believe it was yesterday as their new head coach. And I don't know. I don't even know why they hired a guy who couldn't even win the Big 12 anytime at all when he was there. He wasn't. None of his teams were good. They were explosive offensively, but they were never contenders or anything. I mean, the only thing he's probably known for is having Patrick Mahomes and benching Baker Mayfield. I think that's it. But I don't understand why they would hire him. I don't understand it.
I don't really know who this guy is. He got a nice suit. But I mean, maybe they see something that we don't. Maybe he might know somebody in the front office. Sometimes it's not what you know till you know.
Yeah, cause
so I mean, you just gave me a list of things why he shouldn't be hired, and they hired him. So
yeah,
we'll see.
And this is a problem. In college football, they crucify players when they want to transfer. But this guy just signed a contract to be offensive coordinator last month, and now he's gonna turn around and go to the league. I mean, if this was a college player, we wouldn't hear the last of it. The talking heads would go crazy. Because
they don't really make much. They don't make much money off the coaches in college football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They make all their money off the players.
Yeah.
Off the labor of the backs of the players. So, you know what I mean? It's one of those things like, yeah, we'll find another one of you, but we're not going to find another Adrian Peterson in Oklahoma or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like things like that. And people just hold these players to a higher standard than they should, personally. Like, kids, teenagers, young adults should be able to make a decision and be able to think twice about it and move on. Like, adults should be able to make a decision and stick with it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I just brought it up right here. So Cliff Kingsbury, 6 years at Texas Tech, 35-40 record, played in 3 bowl games, and he's 1-2 in those bowl games. So in the bowl game, he got a 33% winning percentage, and in 6 years, he's 46% winning percentage. So I mean, we'll see. But I'm sure there were better folks out there that could have done that. So, I mean, yeah. Anyways, we move on. So with the Pittsburgh Steelers, drama in Pittsburgh. Apparently, Antonio Brown's on the move. They're contemplating trading him after during the last game of the season, he didn't play because I guess at some point in the week he missed practice or didn't show up for practice. So he was benched for that game. He didn't play, or he didn't even suit up for that game. And then afterwards, I don't know. The Steelers are a dysfunctional team. They're dysfunctional. Ben Roethlisberger, he does Ben Roethlisberger things, talking about he never takes blame. He never takes blame for his part in this. Mike Tomlin, I mean, it's a mess. The team's a mess. They have to trade him. I
mean, the Steelers at one point were pretty good. Now they're just going downhill.
Yeah.
Like, as an organization in front of everyone, right on TV, you can just see this dismantling of it. Like, and if I was Antonio Brown, I want to get out of there too. Like, that game, I mean, not the game. The team wasn't consistent at all this year. Like, you never knew what Steelers team was going to show up, and it really wasn't his fault because somebody has to throw him the ball. You know what I mean? Somebody has to stop the ball. So it was one of those things like he's an elite wide receiver, and he can't really be elite playing with that team. So I would definitely get out of there.
That team, their main problem is leadership. They have, the ones they have for leaders is, Big Ben. He's one of their leaders, but the guy he never takes responsibility for mistakes that he makes on the field. He's always deflecting blame. He's always blaming some other people. And Mike Tomlin, he doesn't really hold people accountable. He doesn't hold the players accountable. So it's.
I mean, one thing about being a leader, you got to be able to have accountability for yourself, and you got to sometimes be accountable for somebody else's mistakes. Because sometimes you might have teammates that aren't as tough as you or aren't as thick-skinned as you or aren't as mentally tough as you. So you have sometimes be like, my fault, when you know they can't catch the ball.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things, sometimes as a leader, you got to just take on the brunt of everything.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of teams that are interested in Antonio Brown. He's a diva receiver, but he can make plays. And, you know, this all falls off. This all started with the whole Le'Veon Bell situation, I think.
Definitely.
After that, it's been downhill, and, you know, they just never recovered from that. And here they are. They are a mess. They missed the playoffs. So, you know, we'll see what happens with them. But, yeah, that's enough. That's enough NFL talk right now. We're going to switch gears. We're going to get into the NBA. We got coaches fired. We got Tom Thibodeau. He was just let go from the Minnesota Timberwolves. They fired him after, I mean, they didn't have a good start. They were 20-21. You know, this team had some expectations, some high expectations, especially after making the playoffs last year. But they just, you know, this is another team. It started with the whole Jimmy Butler thing. It's been downhill from there. I mean, a team that won 47 games last year, it looks like they regressed this year, and, you know, you got to move on from Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really the most offensive-minded coach, and they might need a coach that's more offensive-minded, but you also got to stop the ball in order to win games. So he was definitely big on defense. And didn't Tom coach at Salem State?
I think he attended Salem State, too.
All right, stayed on Salem State. So he's, you know, he's from local product for the most part. So I always want to support Tim Thibodeau, but it might just been, his time might have just been up. Yeah. I heard sometimes him and the front office might butt heads on certain ideas and certain things, and sometimes they just want a yes man for a coach.
Yep.
They want a great coach and a yes man in the office.
Yeah.
So or somebody that just do whatever he's told to do.
Well, Kevin Gardner, the GM, I mean, Kevin Gardner said the GM doesn't know, he doesn't know bleep about basketball. So
well, there you go.
That's all you need to know about where that organization is going. And also, it doesn't help when your two best players take no pride in playing defense at all. Wiggins and Towns, offensively, they got all the skills in the world, but they have no interest in playing defense. And, you know, at some point in the NBA, you got to at least attempt to play defense.
I mean, Tim Thibodeau, a defensive coach. Wiggins and Cat, they don't want to play no defense. It's not going to mix. Yeah. And it's just going to be him yelling at two guys about nothing because they're not going to listen.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just a waste. So he had to move on. They had to move on as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're going to go into James Harden. This guy, he's been on a tear. He's been on a scoring tear since December. I mean, I'm just going to read off some of these games he's had. 35 points, 35 points, 39 points, 41 points, 45 points, 41 points, 43 points, 44 points, 38 points, 32 points. This is one of those scoring sprees we've only seen greats like Kobe and Michael Jordan do. And he's definitely needed to do this because Chris Paul's hurt. So a lot of the offensive load is on his shoulders. And Mike D'Antoni's system, it allows him to flourish offensively because, once again, Steve Nash won 2 MVPs in that system. So, and James Harden is a more skilled player than Steve Nash. So this is one of the most historic runs I've ever seen.
I mean, every 10, 15 years, or maybe 20, you get these guys. So I think he just figured it out now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be that one scorer or a couple scorers in the league that people just can't stick. Yeah. And he's hot right now. And I'll be honest, I'm not surprised. Just because, like they say, he's using the rules to utilize everything in this game. Yeah. Some saying it's step back to travel. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Yeah. So if you're not going to call it, he's going to keep getting buckets.
I don't even know.
I mean, it's one of those things it's kind of like not cheating, but stepping on the line of cheating. You know what I mean? Right to toe, because that's what sports is. You want to take advantage of everything, the rules, everything. Yeah. So it's not a problem. If they're not going to call it, keep doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you go on the speed limit. You're like, oh, let me go a little faster. Am I gonna get pulled over? No, I just drove by a cop. He ain't pulled me over, so I'll go a little faster.
That's what it really is.
It's one of those things where he definitely toes that line, because sometimes like that guy just took 4 steps, and then other times you're just like, I don't know if that's a travel. It looks like it, but I don't know if it's a travel. So he's using it, and they've been playing well after the slow start that they've had. So once they get everybody back, I just want to see him do this in the playoffs, because he disappears in the playoffs. So
the playoffs is a different monster. Everybody, the lights get a little brighter, fans get a little louder, your arms get a little heavier.
Definitely. All right, lastly in the NBA, John Wall is done for the season. I believe he had surgery on his heel or something like that. I forget what body part he had an injury on.
Two-stepping.
Yeah, all that damn.
I don't know.
Nah, you're right. All that damn. So he's done for the season. This Wizards season has been done since October. This team just this has been a lost season before the season even started. So this is now their chance to clean house. I've heard rumors that Bradley Beal might be on the move. I've heard Toronto, possibly Los Angeles, or there's some few teams that may be interested in getting him. They need a clean house. Clean house. This is the time to clean house. Start from scratch, because you keep this core together, you're gonna get Scott Brooks fired, and Scott Brooks is not a bad coach. He's a pretty decent NBA coach. He can coach. So I mean, if they don't wreck this whole thing, they're gonna. Brooks is going to be on the move, and then they're just never going to get anywhere.
Well, hopefully John Wall heals, you know what I mean, the correct way from this heel injury, because I don't know how the healing process from a heel is. Yeah. That's tough. But you gotta just move guys around. They need a new look. They need a new look. Like, you could tell that, how long you gonna keep these guys together? It's gonna be the same result. It's definition of insanity. Yeah. Doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just time. It's just time.
Definitely time for them to move on. And John Wall, he's never been healthy. Since he got in the NBA, he's never had an entire season where he was completely healthy. He's always been hurt and missed games. So, I mean, hey, he's getting a little older, so those injuries are going to start to affect his style of play. So get better, John Wall, and you might need to go on the move. And I'm sure there's a team out there that'll be willing to take on your contract. Probably the Knicks, because they're dying for a star. We got Athletes Corner. This is a good one. We got an Olympian, Rashida Ellis.
Oh, Rashida.
Yeah, she qualified for the Olympics, so she's in Colorado right now, actually training. So we talked with her. We're going to do that Athletes Corner, come back, talk about some other stuff, and he got to go soon, so we got to wrap it up. All right? Athletes Corner. Welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. This is a good one we got here. We got Olympic bound. She's Olympic bound. Rashida Ellis is here. 2020 Olympics. She qualified for it last week, was it?
Yeah,
last week she qualified for Olympics. We got belts here. We got awards here. You got everything. So, how's this feel?
Feels good.
Yeah. How was it though? How was the whole process? The whole just qualifying for it, getting to that point?
Well, I qualified for it like last 4 years ago, but I made it to the semifinals. Mm-hmm. But this year around, I trained much harder. Mm-hmm. Did my strength and conditioning, had a lot of sparring. Mm-hmm. Then I knew I was just going to walk through them girls, because I fought them before. So.
Now, where did the qualification take place? Where did the matches take place?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay, so how many fighters did you have to go up against?
3 fights I had.
3. How long? How long did they go?
Oh, they went all rounds, but I won every round. So.
Yeah. So you might be the first person from Lynn to be heading from the Olympics, unless there's a historian that could tell us otherwise. Maybe Harry again or something. I don't know. But how does it feel just to be the first?
It hasn't hit me yet, but it feels good. I don't know what to say about it. I deserve this. I've been training for 12 years, so.
And Alex informed me that you're going to be heading out January 2nd?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
So I'm leaving January 2nd to Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center.
Okay.
So we're going to have a nationwide camp, which is like people from different countries coming to Colorado Springs to spar.
All right.
So it's going to be from January 2nd to the 20th.
Okay. And then after that, it's just
After that, I'll probably come home for a week, then go back to Colorado for the Stranja training camp, which is in Bulgaria. Then we'll be headed to Bulgaria in the beginning of March to go fight.
Talk about all this traveling that you're doing, how just going out, seeing different places, being out of Massachusetts, seeing different places, different people. What does that do for you, just to see how other people train, how other people fight?
I see it as like, everybody trains different. Like when I went to Bulgaria, like their gym is like so small, but that's where we have the fights. So I'm blessed to have a beautiful gym here in GL, you know, training with a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Now everybody knows your families. You guys are all
the
boxers.
Ellis family,
the Ellis families. You guys are all boxers. Just talk a little about your brothers. We see them on TV. They're professionals. They're training with the best.
Rashida, he signed with Golden Boy Promotion. He has a few titles. His record, what is he, 20-0? 20-0 with like 18 knockouts. And my older brother, Akeem, he just fought in Dominican Republic.
That was last Saturday. That was
last week,
Saturday, right? Yeah.
It was just a little tune-up. Now he got a fight Showtime in February.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
talk about that. How is it when your two brothers are fighting and then you're fighting as well? How is that growing up? And were they hard on you when you decided to box, or they welcomed you in and
they welcomed me and they even worked with me. They helped me out. Like if I was doing stuff wrong, they'll tell me like I'm doing stuff wrong. Like we want you to whoop some ass. I'm the little sister, you know? Like.
Now, talk about training with Alex. What has Alex done? How has he helped you in all this?
Oh, he helped strength and conditioning. That helped. That's the big time in boxing. Like you need that.
Yeah.
So that helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
The strength and conditioning.
So what is your strength in boxing? What is when you go out in the ring? What is something that people have to watch out for? What other fighters have to watch out for?
My 1-2. When I sit down and just throw that 1-2, your head's gonna be like whoop whoop. So. So yeah.
That's I don't know. These titles here though. But I mean that you got the citation from City Hall the other day on Tuesday, I believe. Getting all this acknowledgement from the city, all this love from the city. How does that make you feel?
It feels good that Lynn's doing something about boxing, because they're not too much bigger fans of boxing, but I'm happy they're showing me some love now. You know.
Yeah. And also for the young kids at the gym, how have they approached you when they found out about this?
I'm like a superstar at the gym with the little kids. I love it. Yeah, they look up to me.
Yeah, definitely. So you got January 2nd is next, and then basically training until
keep training, traveling with the USA team until we go to Tokyo.
Yeah. Now there was some other fighters too, I believe, in Utah that scored some victories from Private Jewels as well. Am I correct?
No? Good?
It was just you?
Yeah, it was just me.
It was just you? Okay.
This year it was. Last year they had a few,
Okay. All right. I mean, you guys are, I'd spar with you now, but you know, I don't got the hands right now.
You come to the gym, show you something, you know?
I come to the gym. I've came there a few times. Alex has been trying to get me to get in that ring and spar, and you know, I don't like getting hit.
It's fun. It's fun. It's better than fighting in the streets, you know?
Yeah. That is true. How was that? When did you start? When I was
12 years ago. Yeah.
12 years. Ooh.
Yeah.
And was that kind of your getaway?
Yeah, because before I was fighting the boys at school, and my dad's like, you know what, go to the gym with your brothers. So I'm like, all right. So I started sparring. I loved it. I got beat up once, and then I was like, training so hard. I trained so hard. And then I ended up whooping his ass.
Don't worry, we edit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what happened. I got beat up in the ring, and then I was like, oh no, I never get beat up.
Yeah.
So I trained hard for
Yeah.
that.
What are some of the life skills that you've learned through boxing? Something that you hold till this day?
Self-discipline, and then mental discipline, physical, all them disciplines that boxing teaches you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and it's good that it keeps you out of trouble because there's a lot of kids that kind of went the boxing route just to keep themselves out of trouble because like you said, they were getting in fights earlier. This helped them, but that's a great thing though. That's a great thing that you're doing, especially representing, shining light on the city of Lynn. This is a great thing for everybody to see.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get in the boxing ring. I think I'm gonna do it.
Good. I'll be there.
I might come do a sparring session. I don't know. Alex told me I'm getting big, so I don't know.
There we go.
All right, so you got January 2nd. You're gonna be training for a while, and then back and forth until Tokyo. So I mean, good luck with all this. This is a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys. We got belts here. We got an Olympian here. This is the first time I'm interviewing an Olympian.
From Lynn?
From Lynn. NBC, ABC, ESPN, take notice. Olympians here.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys been watching Athletes Corner. We are out of here. Happy New Year. But by the time this airs, it'll be the other side of New Year. But whatever. Bye.
On behalf of the Lynn City Council, we'd like to present Rashida with the following citation that reads, "Let it be hereby known, the office of the Lynn City Council offers their sincerest congratulations to Rashida Ellis, outstanding elite female boxer in the USA, 2018 national champion in the 132 weight class, in recognition of the happy occasion of qualifying for the Olympic trials in Tokyo in 2019. The Lynn City Council acknowledges your accomplishments, dedication to the community, and overall excellence, serves as an inspiration for all to follow. On behalf of our grateful and proud city, we bestow this official citation on December 18th, 2018. On behalf of the Lynn City Council.
And we are back. Yeah, congrats to Rashida. She's currently in Colorado right now training for the Olympics. So, people doing their thing out here. That's how we do it. Todd's known her since she was this tall.
I knew all the Ellises for the most part, but they weren't really around me like that. Older sisters were. But yeah.
So yeah, that's our little brief history of how he knows them. Yeah. All right, college football. Lord have mercy. This didn't turn out to be the game that we all expected it to be. It was close for one quarter, the first quarter, and then after that, it was just a shellacking. The bully got bullied, pretty much. That's what I'll call it. The bully definitely got bullied, and Alabama had no answer for Clemson. Absolutely no answer for Clemson at all.
Clemson just opened up a can on them. That's really what it was. I don't know what Saban did or didn't do, but he wasn't ready for Clemson.
I don't think anything he could.
Yeah, honestly,
it don't matter.
Clemson was just it was just their night. It was just their night that night. They were overly prepared. They knew what type of shoestrings they had in their cleats. You know what I mean? What type of socks they had on. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, and you saw it from the beginning. I think the first pass of the game went pick six until it went the other way, Clemson. And, Tua, they made Tua look like a normal quarterback. They made him look like a normal quarterback. Granted, these were the two best teams in the country the entire season. These were the two best teams because now we got all these other anti-SEC people talking about, you see what happens when they play outside of SEC, and I'm just like, maybe if your teams and your conference actually won games, we wouldn't have this discussion. Maybe that. I'm like you Ohio State fans, maybe if you don't get ran out the building by Purdue, you guys would have been in the Final Four, You pack 12 people, your conference is terrible. So, no.
Yeah, right.
Pac-12 hasn't been good since Reggie Bush left, so yeah. But Clemson, they definitely came to play. Trevor Lawrence, a true freshman, man, man, that guy, he might be the next upcoming quarterback in the in the future. We'll see how his future goes, but if he continues improving, because he's a true freshman, he's gonna have a hefty career in the NFL.
Yeah, he definitely has a high ceiling. We don't even know what his ceiling is right now, so we really just get it. You know what I mean? This is the introduction to Trevor Lawrence, and then we'll see what the sophomore campaign has for us. But this year was a great year for him. He's a tough guy, man. I even seen him run the ball. He wasn't sliding a lot. He tried to get them extra yards. Granted, you're gonna have to slide. Yeah. You play Alabama again. But this was a great win for the team. Great win for what's that coach's name again?
Dabo.
Yeah, Dabo. That's his real name?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Southern man. Southern.
I ain't mad at Dabo. Dabo.
Also, Justin Ross, this guy for Clemson, he had over 150 yards receiving, and that one-handed catch, he was.
How old is that man?
He's a true freshman.
He's a grown man. Oh my God. He was honestly, if Alabama would have landed him, they'd won the game last night. On Monday.
Yeah, he was. He's an Alabama native too.
Bro, he was the difference. Granted, defense and all that, but the catches he was making, if he wasn't there, nobody was making those catches but him.
And you know what's crazy? We might see these two teams again back next year, because Clemson they did lose some seniors, but they do have a lot of people come. They do have a lot coming back, especially on offense. They got a lot coming back. And Alabama, they're always regrouping. So we might see the same two teams again. But, I mean, congrats to Clemson. I blame this all on Drake, because Drake did pick Alabama to win. And
you seen that meme?
Yeah.
Every team he roots for?
Yeah,
oh, man.
The Drake curse, man.
Yeah,
I knew it happened because I was like, I saw him have the hoodie on. I just thought of Conor McGregor. I just thought of what I was like, yeah.
Oh, Kentucky.
Yeah, this was. But college football's over. Congrats to Alabama, and congrats to Clemson. I said Alabama.
I mean, I'm on it with you. I'm over there.
Congrats to Clemson. Both of these teams in the past, I think 4 or 5 years, they're both 51-4, and both each got 2 national titles.
Hey, well, we need that tie break.
Yeah.
Next year.
All right, quickly, NCAA. So did you hear the story about Mary Davenport? She's the number 15 recruit in the country. She's being recruited by Rutgers, I believe. And there was a clerical error that happened in the state of Alabama have ruled her ineligible to play. Now, the clerical error was something to do with money. I think here it is. They issued a stipend for $857 that was sent to Davenport by USA Basketball, and that was a clerical error. But now she's ineligible because of that. In the Alabama High School Athletic Association, they don't allow payments of more than $250. But this wasn't like a blatant. This was a clerical error. So she's ineligible for this season. Currently, there's been a lot of protests. People have been speaking out on it, but this one doesn't make sense.
Is it going to court? I'm sure it'll probably go to court, or somebody will bring a lawyer involved, just because it's just. Yeah. You have cases like this all the time with the waivers and all types of other cases where it seems like the system might be against a player for a certain reason because they're so good. Yeah. And you see she's a high-profile player, so unfortunately this happens to all type of high-profile players until they have to prove that they're innocent. Yeah, and once again, this is adults making mistakes, then the children are suffering from it. This happens way too often. The adults are never held responsible for their mistakes for some reason. She's being held up for something she didn't even do. It was something she wasn't even aware of. But I mean, hopefully she could get back on the court, but if not, she'll be playing at Rutgers next season. So, But we do live in this strange world where we're always telling the younger generation, the young kids, to hold yourself to a high standard, be accountable, and adults can't even do these things. At all. It seems like once you become an adult, you forget the common core values of being a decent human being. Yeah. We see it in politics too. It's happening. I see it every day. Yeah, we see it happening. So hopefully they figure that out, because let that young lady play basketball. What's wrong with y'all? All right. Speaking of basketball, we're gonna do a little high school basketball roundup. I know we're running out of time soon, but Lynn English, since the last time we had the show, they had a little losing streak. They lost. You guys lost to Winthrop and Glasgow, both close games too, but. You guys, as you said, you guys won yesterday. We regrouped. We 5-2 now. You defeated Marblehead, and you guys also
defeated Gloucester last week.
Yep.
So talk about what you guys the improvements.
They're learning how to go after it and take things instead of just waiting for it. Like we have a lot of nice ladies on our team that are great people, straight A students by tone. It's okay to take stuff from people on the basketball court. You don't take stuff from people in real life, but on the court you take what you want. And that's just how it goes. And they're understanding how to be dogs, how to be mean, how to play harder, how to just go after it. Because some of them is just so used to just walking through life like you're walking on daisies. Now they're just, running on hot coals now.
Yeah.
So we get into it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, that's good for them, getting closer to that state tournament. Ben, as one of your players said, to go into the tournament, so you guys halfway there. Also, St. Mary's boys basketball, St. Mary's girls basketball team, they won the Boverini tournament. And St. Mary's boys basketball is currently undefeated right now. They're ranked 4th in the state. And Lynn English boys, they're ranked 5th in the state. So we got, and Lynn Classical, I believe they're 15th. They're somewhere in the teens. So we got a lot of teams right now that are playing well. They're playing good basketball. So, that's good for the city, especially as long as they continue the winning ways. So
exactly.
We got a couple minutes left. We're gonna run through these games real quick. So first up, we're gonna go Patriots versus the Chargers. Who you got?
Pats.
Yeah, Pats. Colts versus the Chiefs.
Colts.
Ah! Colts. Cowboys versus Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams. Eagles versus Saints.
Breeze.
Yeah, we picked it all the same, so we're predictable. All right, guys, we are out of here. Lynn English girls basketball team play Friday against Beverly. Lynn English boys basketball team, they play Marblehead tonight. Lynn Classical, I believe they had a game last night. Look at the schedule. I can't think. I only focus on English because I'm biased. So I try to tell. I'm biased. I went to English, so I'm biased. Also, he won 2 state titles at St. Mary's. For a lot of y'all that didn't know that. So
yeah, I did.
Yeah, 2 of them. So check us out, lyntv.org. Make sure you guys go to the Facebook page, website, come down to the studio. We are out of here. We'll be back next week. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.